Hi, I'm Sadie Jackson, and I go to Geneva College. My major is Human Services, and I have a minor in Psychology. I graduated in 2013. When I was in high school, I was part of YAM, which is Youth Action Network, and Renaissance Club. At Geneva, I am an L&T mentor, which is Learning and Transition, which means I help the freshmen transition into college. And yeah.
I'm Tessa Coral. I graduated in 2013. I am at St. Francis and I'm studying accounting. In high school, I played softball and I was in FBLA. And now I'm studying so that I can take my CPA exam, which is a Certified Public Accounting exam. And I just joined a sorority this semester.
I'm Lucy Raftery. I graduated last year in 2014. I was really active. I was in basketball and soccer and did a bunch of clubs like Student Council and Renaissance and Yearbook and FBLA and all that stuff. I'm at Penn State, Maine, studying Criminology, and I hope to be going to law school, but I'm not sure yet. And I'm in a thong committee, if anyone's ever heard of that, so that's really fun because I commute. Like, I live at home and go to save money. And when you're in like your junior or senior year, I highly recommend like paying attention to all the college courses that you can take because of all that opportunity. I am technically a whole semester ahead, so next semester I'll be a freshman, but technically I'll be a sophomore because of all the credits that I took in high school.
Hi, I'm Bethany Harker. I graduated from TAHS in 2012. I attend Penn State Altoona. My major is not nutrition. I am a history major. I changed my second semester. In high school, I was in student council, newspaper, Renaissance. I swam for a few years. Now at Penn State Altoona, I am secretary of the History Society, which we organize a lot of historical events on campus, along with what we call donut days. You can come and get free donuts and talk about history, or just gossip, I guess. And that's pretty much it.
I'm Kendra Boise. I graduated in 2013. In high school, I was in band and soccer. I danced. I was on the mock trial team. And now that I go to Lycoming College, I still play soccer, which is a really cool opportunity for me. And I'm also in band. And then I'm studying to get my CPA at the end of my 4 years and have a finance degree as well.
Hi, I'm Kara Postridge. I go to Mount Aloysius. I'm a criminology major with an American Sign Language minor. I graduated in 2013. In high school, I didn't really affiliate myself with the high school. I danced at Dance Fusion. Now I go to college and I work still at the dance studio.
My name's Dalton McKeon. I graduated last year when I was in high school. I played basketball, and I am currently going to school in Duncansville for the Carpenters Union, and that's it.
Hi, Joe Miller. I graduated in 2007, which seems like a really long time ago now. I was in newspaper, Renaissance, and cross country when I was in high school. I'm in the Army right now. I was stationed in Korea originally. Right now I'm in Fort Hood, but I've also done a year in Iraq and Afghanistan.
What I think is interesting is there are three of you. How many of you were in EagleEye Newspaper? Raise your hand. Like, so Sadie didn't mention it and Kara didn't mention it, but like, look all of them that were writing for fun in high school. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so now we're going to turn it into a panel discussion. And one of the questions I think that's probably out there is like, why did you choose to go where you went? Anybody want to talk about that? Why you chose your place or your major? Go ahead, Bethany, it's all you.
Well, I originally didn't want to go to Penn State. I originally wanted to go to Pitt. And I chose Penn State for, I guess, a dumb reason, because somebody I was seeing in high school wanted me to go to Penn State to be closer to home, so I went to Penn State. Things didn't work out, so I'm still stuck at Penn State. But afterwards, I plan on going to law school, maybe at American University, which is located in Washington, D.C.
I don't know if you guys know this, but if your parents or anyone are employed by Penn State, you get a huge discount. So I get 75% off tuition, which is huge when you're paying your own way through college. And I decided to commute and live at home, so I take the 20 to 25 minute drive up. And I lived on campus over the summer, and like it was fun, but saving the money and just knowing that how much college actually is just a huge thing. And I love Penn State. I've loved it since I was little, so it was always my first choice.
If you look at that chart, you can see how much all of these institutions are the whole way across. And not only do you pay tuition then, but you pay room and board if you choose to live on campus. And then lab fees, and well, Mrs. Campbell wants you to know about books. Joey, would you be willing to tell us what led you to the Army?
Yeah,
I didn't mention this before, but I actually went to college for about a year and a half. I went to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown originally. And sometimes you make all these plans and you get through with your decision and life just sort of changes on you. College wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. A few personal problems happened. I was doing all right in my classes, but I wasn't ready mentally, so you got to make sure before you make the investment, because trust me, I'm still paying that like year and a half off right now. So I got out and I worked for about a summer, and it just seemed like the right choice at the time. The surge was happening. Iraq was really kicking off, so they were offering a lot of enlistment bonuses. So I just took it, and I've been in for about 6 years now. So.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, so my next question actually has to do relating to that, which would be the transition from high school into college. How difficult or how easy was it for all of you? So, yeah, you want to start with Sadie?
For me, the transition to college wasn't that bad, but I will tell you that college is a lot harder than high school. Not necessarily work-wise, but that you have to put effort into it. Like right now, you guys have people telling you what to do and when to do it, but when you get to college, it's up to you. Like you have to make the choice to do your homework, and you won't have like your professors probably will not be like, oh, you need to get this done. You need to get this done. It has to be up to you. But transitioning wasn't all that hard. You make friends your first week, but then they change again in 2 weeks. It's just how college usually works your freshman year.
I think for me, the hardest part was going to a new school, not knowing what I was doing, and not knowing where to go, who I would meet, and you didn't have the same people that you grew up with all your life. And I think that was the hardest thing, not having the same people with you at all times. So you're on your own and you are forced to make new friends and you're forced to figure out ways on your own. And I just think that was the hardest part for me, but really I thought it was pretty simple.
Yeah, I agree. Like the transition wasn't as hard as like I thought it was initially going to be, but I did the summer program as like a startup to kind of like prepare myself, because Penn State University is huge. There's 46,000 students. So when you're on campus your first day, it's pretty overwhelming at first because like it's just a huge campus. But then once you get used to it and you like get a schedule down, like it's important to stay organized. Like I color code everything to like make sure I'm like on top of my classes. And up there you have classes with 400 students, so the professor like doesn't care if you come to class or not. Like it is your choice to go to class, and that's how you determine how you do well. So I think Tyrone prepared me really well for that. Like I'm grateful that I went here.
College wasn't a great transition for me, especially because I went to a branch campus of Penn State, so my classes were relatively about the same size as they are here at Tyrone. My biggest class size, I think, was 100 students, and that was Psych 100. So it wasn't too bad, but I wish I wouldn't have slacked off my senior year of high school. I took 3 study halls, I read all the 7 Harry Potter books, and I didn't do anything. And I wish I wouldn't have taken my free education for granted, because after high school you're paying thousands of dollars for a piece of paper that tells you that you're able to do this. And I wish I would have taken more advantage of the classes that Tyrone offered here to help me better prepare for life after high school.
The transition into Lycoming wasn't that bad for me because I moved in a week and a half early due to soccer. So I made all sorts of new friends right away, right on my team. And coming in my freshman class on the soccer team, there's 13 of us. So it was just like a small group of friends from high school by the end of that week. The classes, however, like they said before, it's a lot different from high school. You have to actually do your homework when you want to do it. You're not told, do your homework. They don't care. If you do it, good, you'll get good grades. If you don't, then you're gonna fail, and it's all on you anymore. It's not on your teachers or your parents, it's all on you. And that was probably the hardest thing, was time management once I moved, because I didn't have like set schedules for everything.
I made the decision to go to Mount Aloysius, which is a very small school, so transitioning into the classes, which were 25 to 30 people, wasn't different from coming here to high school. I also moved in with two of my best friends from high school who were in the same criminology program as I was, so I wake them up every morning, I take them to class. If it weren't for me, they wouldn't pass. But changing from this school to my college now wasn't different for me at all, really.
Bummed my senior year. I have to kind of be a little more punctual compared to last year. People were a little bit more strict and not as lenient with you when you leave high school. But that's about it.
Yeah, the initial transition to college was actually really fun. You get there your first week and it's just a bunch of orientation and everything. But then after that, the classes start piling up, and I had an English class, actually. I was an English major at the time. And I had a class I kind of let go until about halfway through the semester, and all of a sudden you go in and you realize you're like 5 assignments behind, and they're all these like 8-page papers you have to write. So it's definitely something you have to learn to stay on top of.
Joe, I'm going to call on you again. What's the transition like into the military?
I was not prepared at all. The first time I ever saw Black Hawk Down was actually after I graduated basic training, so I had no idea what I was getting into. When you first get there, it's pretty much like you think it's going to be. It's a whole lot of yelling, a whole lot of confusion. They intentionally don't let you know where you're supposed to be and then yell at you for not being there. But when you first get to your first duty station after basic training and advanced individual training, you get a lot more freedom, and it felt a whole lot like whenever I went to college. All of a sudden you don't have someone telling you to be home at a certain time, you don't have someone making sure you're doing everything you're supposed to. It's kind of like you have to figure out how to live for yourself. And Hot Pockets and all the microwavable meals and stuff, you notice them on, like, you gain a lot of weight initially.
Okay, so my next question would be for all of you, and time management skills. So really the time management, the workload, how many papers do you guys have to write? So, and I'm going to actually ask Lucy specifically about her class sizes, because Penn State with 44 to 46,000 people at University Park, that's not including all the other campuses, class sizes, what was your biggest?
Well, I took English over the summer, so they made a 16-week course into 6 weeks. So I had speech, like you have to take a CAS course at Penn State to graduate, so that means I had to have a speech class, so I had to like write speeches. So I had like a speech and an essay a week to write. So I didn't really have a life over the summer. I really just wrote papers. I had to write 7 papers in 6 weeks, and the papers were like ranging from 6 pages to 9 pages, depending on how nice she was feeling the day she assigned it. But my freshman year is different than what my other classes will be like, because I have a freshman seminar class, which is like you're obligated to take, and that class only had 20 people in it, but my criminology class had like 250-ish, and it's just intro courses now, like gen ed, so they're a little bit smaller than what they normally would be, but my next few semesters will be a lot more, like, yeah, 400 people.
How about for the rest of you with the papers and other colleges?
As a history major, I don't have to take a lot of tests. I have to write a lot of papers. My senior thesis, which I start the annotated bibliography next semester, and then I'll write the thesis paper next fall. That paper has to be 30 pages, but that does not include like all your sources and interviews and all that type of stuff. So my biggest paper this semester, I think, was 11 pages long, and that was on the Nazi ideology.
As a accounting and finance major, we don't really have to write papers. So the only papers I wrote were during my freshman year for my English class. But next semester we're required to take the philosophy of like how to manage businesses and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to write a few more papers for that, but mostly it's tests. You have to take so many of those.
At Mount, we have to take a lot of general education classes, as I'm sure everywhere else you do, but we are required to take a connections class where we only have it one day a week, but we have a paper every week. And it's only 5 pages, which sounds probably like a lot now, but it's not. I also took theology where I had to write a 12-page paper. My ASL class and my criminology classes, we have to write reflections. So for my ASL, we go to deaf events and we interact with the deaf community. And we write about what we learned, if we learned new signs, if we interacted with them and how we felt while we were interacting with them. For my criminology class, we went to Cambria County Prison and we had to interact with the inmates, and we saw the SAG unit and all of those different units and the women's unit in Cambria County, and we wrote a reflection on how that was. So those ones were easy ones. They were only 2 to 3 pages, but I have a lot of papers to write.
I personally have not written a single paper since I left here. I have only taken 6 tests. My school actually sends you to work and pays you while you go to school, so a little bit different from the rest of that.
Big surprise, you don't write a whole lot of essays in the Army. When you go to college to be an English major, though, you write a whole lot, so it's something to do. I mean, I enjoyed writing my whole life, so that's why I chose it, so it wasn't that bad for me, but...
How about your training?
Training?
For military?
Yeah, training kind of sucks. It depends on what you go for, though. I mean, there are a whole lot of schools you can do within the Army. Like, I just got done with an TAHS class, which is the Army Field Artillery Target Designating System. And basically it's a computer that you can put targets into. You have to plot grids on a map and enter them into the computer system, and it tells the artillery cannons, the mortars, the fixed wing and the rotary wing aircraft. It tells them all where to drop bombs and shoot artillery and all that stuff. But you can go to air assault school, you can go to airborne school if you want to jump out of a helicopter or a plane, or, I mean, the Army even has like a scuba school if you're into like swimming and all that stuff. But any school you can really go to, anything affiliated with the military, it's all the same thing really. You have to pay attention, and they're going to make it as difficult as possible because they have to have you prepared to do whatever they're teaching you to do in a real world situation with people shooting at you, things exploding all around you, things like that.
Can you tell us what your job is right now?
Right now, I'm a forward observer, which means if you think of an artillery cannon or a bomb coming out of a plane, if you think about that as a rifle, I would be essentially like the scope, doing all the targeting, telling them where to land the rounds for the effects on target.
I have no more questions for you this time. Can I just say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, going back to the papers, I don't write well, no, I do kind of write a lot. My major is human services, and a lot of you probably don't know what that is. But with that, I can work with like children and youth services, and I want to get my master's of counseling. But my freshman year, I came in undeclared, and so I wrote a lot of papers for my core classes, and that's all like MLA, which is what you guys do here. But now that I'm in my major classes, we do a thing called APA, which is a lot harder. So if you have the chance to learn it now, do it.
One thing that we can be happy about is all seniors now use APA in English class. So sorry you weren't here for that, but we do MLA until 12th grade, and then they go to APA.
Now, Miss D, as a history major, I have to learn the Chicago style.
That's totally whack.
It is totally different than MLA and APA and all the other stuff.
So, next question would be, working with professors or officers or whoever it is, instructors, how is that similar or different, and do you prefer it, do you not prefer it, are they nice? So tell us about that.
I think that for me, working with the professors was probably one of the best things that you could do. I know if you're struggling with a class, which calculus, if you can take it here, do it. With calculus, I was with my professor numerous times, and I just feel like when you're with a professor, it's easier to talk to them as compared to being here because you're in an office and it's just you two. As compared to here, you know, you have people coming in and out asking questions, and there are other people that have questions, but there it's just between you and that professor, and I think that's more beneficial to understand what you're struggling with.
I would also agree with Tessa. Working with your professors is a really good choice. Getting to know them, not only does it make it easier to get help, but when you go and you have to ask for letters of recommendation or reference letters, they know you a lot better. I go to, like, Geneva's very, very small, and there it's easy to connect with professors. Just like grabbing like coffee or something, or like lunch or something, to ask about what you need help with, or just to get to know them a little bit better. It's just really beneficial.
Yeah, I definitely agree. In college, you'll get like the first day of class, or they'll put it on like it's called Angel at Penn State, but you'll get a syllabus, and on that syllabus they'll have their office hours, and I highly recommend like using any opportunity that you have just to get to know your professor, because at Penn State, like I said earlier, the classes are so big, and if I had a question on my exams, I could go there and like they will review my exam with me, and then when you get on that first name basis and they can pick you out in class, they know that you actually care about their classes, because that means a lot to them because they teach so many students. So when you actually show up, it like helps. And I'm in the College of Liberal Arts at Penn State, so you need 12 credits of a language. So I took Spanish 2 this semester, and it was rough because I stopped in 10th grade. So you can take Spanish 3, like if you know that you want to do something towards that, try to take it in high school so you're a little bit more prepared than I was, at least. But I went to his office hours and he helped me so much, and I don't know, it was just really helpful. So you definitely want to get to know your professors.
I am in a similar boat as Lucy. I am in the College of Liberal Arts, and I had to take 12 credits of a language, and in high school I took Spanish, and I didn't like it. So at Penn State I took a whole new language. I did German, and this semester I took German 3, and I was bummed because I didn't get the A. But I got a B+, which in German 3, that's good, but you always want to strive to do better, I guess. But I did excel because I cared, and I attend my professor's office hours. I got help, I got a tutor, and like Lucy said, if you attend your professor's office hours and then you show that you care, then that can actually determine whether you get an A or a B. Because say you didn't get the best grade on your final exam, but if they see that you're trying and you attended the office hours and did all this other stuff, then they could bump you up a few percentages just because they know that you cared enough to do so.
Lycoming's a really small school, and all of our professors have office hours, but they all post their schedules on their doors as well. So, and most of them will just leave their doors open. So if you have a class during their office hours, you can just stroll right into their office as long as they're not busy and talk to them whenever you need help. They also have teacher assistants or tutors for every single class. So if you need help and you can't make it to your professor's tutor to get help on the class, that all goes back to your professor as well. They know when you meet with tutors, and they'll take that into consideration as well. And I had the same problem. I took French in high school, but I tested into a higher French, so I only had to take one semester of it during college, thankfully, because it was a struggle. But I met with my professor and I met with tutors, and I passed the class, but it was hard, and if I wouldn't have met with my professor or any of those tutors, I probably would have failed.
In a small school that I go to, it's easy to sit in class and ask your professor questions that you have on the lecture. Because it's just like high school. There's 25, 30 kids. There's 12 kids in some of our classes. I have very small classes. They do have office hours, but a lot of the time, there's already people in their office. As for tutors in our school, I am a tutor for my criminology courses, and no one uses them. It's really sad, because when I was a freshman, I used the tutors as much as I could. Not because I was struggling, but because I needed some extra practice for some of my courses. So when you're in college, take advantage of everything that's offered to you, because what's there is included in your tuition.
I get to work with instructors, and I get to deal with my boss at the same time. The instructor personally doesn't really care if you pay attention, if you sleep. He still gets paid either way. And my boss, pretty much the same way. He tells you what to do, and you don't see him for 8 hours. But, I mean, nothing different than...
Dalton, what would happen if the job didn't get done? What's the boss do then at the end of the 8 hours? Does he know or does he not know?
Oh, he knows.
And what happens?
You stay until it's done.
Oh, so if you blew off those 8 hours of the workday, you stay until it gets finished.
I was, had to work 5 extra hours on Wednesday. Not because I didn't get it done, but there was more to be done.
Gotcha. So it was a long job then?
13-hour day.
Wow.
I guess it just goes with everything, whether it's instructors, officers, teachers, professors, whatever it happens to be. The biggest thing is you have to realize and really apply yourself to whatever you're doing and realize when you need help, because in every different facet of life I've been involved with so far, the people teaching me, even if they had a problem with me, didn't necessarily like me, whenever you ask for help and tell them, hey, I'm not getting this isn't clicking the way it's supposed to, they normally have a lot more respect for you, because then they realize that they're not just talking to a wall for 8 hours a day, that someone's actually paying attention. And a lot of these guys, what they teach is what they're passionate about. So if you get someone talking about what they're passionate about, you see a whole other side of them, and sometimes that helps clarify a lot of what you might be struggling with, what you're confused with. So always ask questions. I know they always say there's no such thing as a stupid question, but there really isn't, as long as you don't ask how to tie your shoes or something when you're in college. Besides that.
Thank you. How about the pros and cons of college? So dorm life, living on campus, or not living on campus, living on your own, commuting, and also maybe the activities that you're involved in. So what is your most favorite thing about college, and what is your least favorite?
I live on campus, obviously. I am 144 miles from home. But I really like living on campus. It gives you a chance to connect with people that you wouldn't be able to connect to if you were a commuter. My favorite thing about college is the people at Geneva. They're just wonderful. Everyone, like all the students, like, most of the students are great and the professors are amazing. And my least favorite thing is, I can't really answer that. I took a class called Agencies and Policies of Social Welfare. It's the hardest class in my major, and I took it as a sophomore. And you have to learn all the different things like Children and Youth Services, the Child Abuse Prevention Act, Old Age and Disability Acts, and just everything that you can think of. And it was really hard, but I managed to get a B in it. It's just really hard, and that's probably, I wouldn't say my least favorite thing, but it was definitely not one of my favorite things about Geneva.
Well, I commuted my first year, and I think that it was definitely a good thing because you did save a lot of money, and you were home, so you got home-cooked meals instead of the same cafe food every day. But now that I'm living on campus, I'm able to interact with more people, and I've gained a lot more friends. And now that I'm living on campus, I joined a sorority, so now I have 33 sisters, and it's just an unbelievable friendship, and it's just amazing to have all of them there. So that's probably my favorite part of school, having my sisters. And my least favorite is that you have to take gen eds, and I have to take science, and I have to take languages, and I just don't like them. I can't do them.
I have it from both perspectives because I did live at Penn State over the summer because I thought it'd be fun just to like get away from home. But due to some like family issues, it was to the point where like I needed to be responsible and like be there for my family. So I decided to live at home. Like I got rid of my housing plan, had everything set, like a dorm, a roommate, and everything. But it came down to like just being there for your family. And I don't regret it one bit. I think I'm gonna get an apartment when I'm my junior or senior year, and it's like I'm a family person. I love seeing my family every day. I have a part-time job too, so that's nice because in between classes, like, college is really flexible with your schedule. Like you make your schedule, so if you hate getting up early, then you can schedule your first class at 12 o'clock. But because I commute, I didn't have any 8 a.m.s luckily, but my earliest class was at 9, and then I got done at like 12 and went to work, and then went back to class and went back to work. And I made a lot of friends over the summer, which was really nice, so I have that advantage. Normally, sometimes people that commute, it's hard making friends. And I also joined a thong committee, and that is like 35 of my closest friends. What we do is just amazing.
Tell them about what thong is.
Oh,
Some people might not know.
I don't know. Thon is like a huge program at Penn State, and it's ran all by students. Every year at the Bryce Jordan Center, it's like 46 hours of straight dance, like no sleeping, no sitting, only if you get picked to be a dancer. There's a bunch of different committees, and I got on the Dancer Relations Committee. It used to be called Morale. And so Thon weekend, I will get to be on the floor with my dancer, making sure that they don't pass out, like just taking care of them. And it's amazing. You raise millions of dollars for childhood cancer, and it's an amazing cause. I also joined the Blue and White Society, and it's a great way to meet alumni for internships, anything. Like, it's just a really good program. I joined like a criminal justice thing, and we are going to tour the prison and think next semester. So I tried getting involved as much as I could by living at home, just to like meet more people, I guess.
I commute to Penn State Altoona. I don't mind it just because I get to sleep in my bed every night. And I don't have to have a roommate, which is a good thing because I probably wouldn't survive. Well, they probably wouldn't survive. But at Penn State, I am the secretary of the History Society, and I tried to, as much as being a commuter, join as many groups and organizations as I could. But being a history major and being the secretary of the History Society takes up a lot of time. just because there's always an event that you have to do, there's always money to be raised. You always have like academic meetings or social meetings and things like that. So it's pretty much time management, whether you have schoolwork or you want to do a club, because schoolwork should come first. And so I guess my favorite thing about college is that I get to choose my classes that I want to take. Except your gen eds, they're not fun, because I have to, like Tessa, I have to take science and math, and those are horrible. But next semester, I am taking 19 credits, and they're all history classes. So it should be a grand old time.
I just want to jump in really quickly. So Dalton and Joe only have to take classes that are directly related to what their jobs are, correct? So the rest of them go to a liberal arts college, which means that they have to take all these classes they're saying that aren't their major. But if you choose to go to a technical school, you go to the military, or a business school, it will be specific to your major and you won't have to take those other classes.
Yeah, I would also like to add that it's also hands-on. So where these are book, if you're not into the reading and the writing and everything, and you're more into the hands-on, the technical schools or the apprenticeships like he has, or military, any type of military, that's definitely hands-on.
Pros, cons?
Pros, cons, Dalton?
Well, the pros would be that I don't have to pay a single dollar to anybody. They send you to work, and you're everybody that works with you, just your local union, helps pay for your schooling, and you get paid while you work. So I don't have to. I commute every day instead of living up there, which no one can live up there. Everybody that goes there drives every day. You only go for a week every other month. The rest of the time you work and get paid. So there is really no cons in my mind.
Dorm life was actually really cool when I went to college. That was, like I said before, nobody's telling you when to go to bed. No one's telling you not to drink too much soda, do whatever you want, really. But yeah, definitely soda. The barracks, you have to actively try and set boundaries for yourself, because you're establishing habits that you're going to have your entire life. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. When I was in college, I stayed up way too late, like every night, and I still have a habit of doing that. Like, I get up for PT at 4:30 in the morning, and some nights I find myself awake at like midnight or 1 o'clock. I'm like, what am I doing with myself? But, yeah, that's the hardest part. Living at home, I had a couple of friends that would commute. They ended up going to Penn State Altoona. And that's really good. You save a lot of money, but at the same time, getting out, staying at home is a hard habit to break once you get used to it out of high school. I have some friends that are my age. They're working. They have jobs. They're out of college and everything. They're still staying with their parents, though. So there's pros and cons in each situation.
All right, so last question that I'm going to ask you. Any type of advice that you would have for these 9th graders?
I think the biggest thing that I wish I would have known in my freshman year of high school is that even if you don't know what you want to do right now, just be actively seeking and looking for things that you like, and also take the classes that you can that can count for college credits. Like, I took statistics my senior year of high school, and I wish I would have taken this an AP credit because I had to take it again this past semester, and it wasn't fun. But just think about what you want to do, and just, if you love something, see if you can make that into a job, because the more you love it, the more motivated you'll be. And just be motivated now. Like, don't slack off this year because you're like, oh, well, I have 3 more years until I have to even think about this. You need to think about it now. And your senior year, also be thinking about it. Don't do what a lot of us have done and just slack off. You have to work towards it and just be seeking and looking.
I think that my biggest thing that I learned was that you need to build your network. And what I mean by that is you need to constantly be talking to people, meeting new people, building relationships. I know that I've gotten close with a lot of the teachers here, and I've needed help so many times, and I've came back. I went to Mr. Rutter, I've gone to Mrs. Beagle with English papers, and they've helped me. I've talked to so many of these teachers here, and they can really help you. If you're gonna end up looking for an internship and you need references, they're there for you. And even your professors, even friends you make. If you're looking for a job, it's one person that can say, hey, I know that there's an opening there. And it can really be beneficial to just continue to build your network.
I would definitely say take the college courses. I got 13 credits my senior year because I took everything that was available. And now I think they have, do they have history? AP? Yeah. They wasn't available last year for me, or I would have taken that too, but I was available to get 13 credits for a lot less money than what it would cost me at Penn State. For instance, I took chem, which was 4 credits, and a lab, so I don't have to take a lab at Penn State, which was huge, because that's like a 3-hour class. Now I have 3 more hours. Statistics, I don't have to take stat in college, which was huge, because Mrs. Marasco helped me a lot in that class last year, and all the credits just counted. And don't slack off, because colleges look at freshman, sophomore, and junior year, sometimes senior year too. Just stay dedicated and care about your work, because it will end up mattering a lot.
Do any of you know Mr. Merriman? Maybe? Okay. Well, I had him as a freshman in high school, so when I was your age. He always told my class that life sucks, then you die. But you gotta be kidding me. I'm not. I got those doors.